What is up, guys? Hope you all having a good day. Welcome back to the channel. Today I got another good video for you guys. Gonna be doing an install on the Hasport mortar mounts. Got these guys right here. Got the transmission side mount and the engine side mount. So it's basically gonna replace this guy here and this guy over here. So very excited for these. Can't wait to put them on. It's a bit of work, but we can do it. No big deal. Got the tools for it. I've already got it all planned out on how we're gonna make it work. It's a lot to do, but hey, it's okay. It might take some time, but it's actually overall pretty easily done. You know, I've seen a few videos already and things like that, so it's pretty easy install, but it does take a little bit of time because there's a lot to remove to get them on. So here, first you gotta remove the whole battery and the tray and everything, because you gotta get two bolts back there behind it, underneath the battery. We're going to be removing the ECU because that's in the way. There's a bolt that's holding the motor mount back there, and there's one back here too that you probably can't see too good, but that guy back there. So we got to remove the ECU and the battery. This side's not going to be as bad. You just got to loosen up a couple bolts for the hoses here, this bolt here, and loosen up this guy, and it'll lift up enough out of the way that you can get to the bolts to undo it, because all the bolts are right here. So should be fairly easy on the passenger side. Another long bolts on there. You just gotta have a good extension and whatnot. So I got my extension here, good old breaker bar. Got the gun here just to make it quicker after it's loosened up. A few more extensions, some sockets here, different sizes that we're gonna need for the battery tray and the big ones. Some wrenches also. So I've already taken off the bottom tray from underneath. I've jacked the car up, got it on my ramps. Yes, I know it's backwards, but it's alright. Got the parking brake on, and I got rubber stoppers on the other side of the tire, actually, in the back and the front. So I got it jacked up. You're gonna need to take that off because you're gonna want to have a jack to underneath the engine to hold it up while you're undoing the motor mounts. You don't want the whole thing falling down. And you're gonna want it also so you can go up and down a little bit to make it easier to install the mounts. So I'm gonna have to do that. So like I said, easy stuff, but it is gonna be a bit time consuming. But I'll take you guys along for the ride, and if you got any questions, just let me know down in the comments. I spent a lot of time looking at a lot of different videos on this because it doesn't bring any instructions. And these motor mounts, at least the transmission side one, I wasn't sure which way it went, if it went this way or it flipped the other way, because the bolts go on either direction. But I got to figure it out after watching a few videos. It's going to be the same as the passenger side. And what I'm talking about is here, if you ever seen one of these, you'll notice this guy here is a little bit higher on this side. See, if I would have flipped this around, then it would have been on the lower end. And honestly, I wasn't sure which way it's going to go because there's words on both sides of the mount. There's no arrow pointing for like up and down, so I wasn't 100% sure. The bolts, like I said, they fall in through this side perfectly and to the top. But then after looking at the passenger side, you'll notice that this mount only goes one way because of the groove here, how it's going to sit up top. So I knew that this was the top of the mount, and if you look at it from the side, it's on the higher side. So basically what I'm going to do is put the transmission side on the driver's side the same way, with the higher lip facing up on the high side. Instead of being like this on the low side at the bottom, it's going to be on the top. So that's how you know. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start taking this battery off. I've already pulled up my strut bar here. So now I'm just going to work on taking the battery out and then undoing a few clips here for the ECU so I can get to the bolts underneath. Alright, I've just got the battery tray out. At least the battery out, actually. It shouldn't say a tray. This is the base that the battery sits on. I got to take this off. There's a bolt here, a bolt there. This bolt right here, this is attached to this cable. And then there's two bolts underneath. Don't know if you can see it. There's one about right there. And then there's one back here that you just got to loosen up. You don't got to take it out all the way because it does slide out. But I'm going to go ahead and take those off, and then I'll show you guys where the bolts are exactly. Alright guys, so here's the battery tray. There's 5 bolts that hold it in place. And just to give you a good look from up here, it's going to be the 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5. As you can see, there's cutouts here in the bottom too. So those bolts, you don't got to take them out all the way. You just got to loosen it, because then it'll just slide up. The only ones you got to take out all the way are the top 3 ones. So it's actually not too bad to do. And I'll show you here. 3 bolts. Got this one right here, this one, and then the other one right back here. You just move this out the way, you can get to it right there. And then the other 2, this one right here, this guy, and this guy over here. And like I said, those 2 you just gotta loosen them. You don't gotta take them out all the way. It'll come right out. And then of course the little one that was here. And these are 12mm bolts, and that's a 10mm bolt. Now another thing to run into is on this guy right here. There's a bolt right there, as you can see, and we need to get to it. So this is in the way. But right underneath it, right here, you're gonna see this little like triangle piece on the plastic part. I don't know if I can get down there or not. There's like a little triangle plastic. You're gonna stick a flathead straight in there and undo a clip, and that's what it looks like right there. There's a small clip, so you just gotta stick a flathead through the bottom this way. Right here, there's a triangle. Stick a screwdriver in through there and kind of pry it a bit, and it'll unclip it from here. And now, as you can see, you can move this whole thing, and you have clear access to the bolt from the top. You just need a long extension. Alright, so now it's time to get the ECU out of the way, because there's another bolt down there that we gotta get to. And for that, there's a 10mm bolt right down there. So with a long extension, go ahead and take that out. And then there is the top one right here, another 10mm. And I think that's it. Then we might have to just unclip some of the wiring. But I think it's just those 2 bolts that hold down the ECU. We'll find out. Alright, so it looks like I was right. It was just the top bolt there and the bottom bolt at the bottom. And actually look, if you look, the bottom bolt has a slit here on the ECU. So that one you don't even have to take out all the way. Just loosen it and slide it out after you've taken the top bolt off. And unplug the 2 plugs here for the ECU, and it'll slide right out. So pretty easy actually. And now I don't really think I need to remove anything else, because I have access to that bolt there. Just need an extension, and I have access to the top 2 ones now also. That green one down there and the one up here is being lit up by the sun. So they were good to start taking off the mount itself. Other than that, the only other thing is this ground cable right here. Just undo it from there, and then it's time to start unbolting the transmission mount. Alright guys, so now that the ECU is out, it's time to start undoing the mounts. I've already taken off this guy here, the ground cable, pulled that to the side over. I just loosened this one. It wasn't too bad. I actually did not need the gun. It came out by hand. It wasn't on there too tight. So now I gotta do the other side, these 2 right there, and then I can start working on the 3 for this mount. The one that's back here, the top one, and on the other side, and then the green 12mm. So let's go ahead and do that. Just got the back loosened up. Just gotta take out the bolt. This big ass dude here, and this nut right here, just gotta come off. Two in the front here. seems to have gotten a little tighter, which I'm sure with the whole thing moving. Alright, let me jack up the engine a bit. It's going a little too low for my comfort. Alright, looks like we're good. This one off. Let's go ahead and take the nut. Actually, I'm gonna loosen this 12 already. Let's see if I can get it off by hand. This might be a little easier. Go. That came right out. Now the only thing on here is this nut, but let's go ahead and take that off, and then should be able to maybe slide this mount out already. Actually, let me put that back on there real quick for a second. That's not going to go anywhere until I take off the top part as well, so let's go ahead and take the top off. 3 bolts right there, right up here, and then one behind the wires there. Alright guys, every single nut and bolt is officially off with the transmission mount. Let's go ahead and try to wiggle it out. Here guys is the transmission mount. Oh man. Alright. Sweet. Now we can work on putting the new one in. Let's see. Should be this guy right here. Now this guy here is the one that mounts onto the wall there, the frame. This one you're going to use the same 3 OEM bolts that you took off to mount off the OEM one. You're going to use those 3 on this guy, and then you're going to use the OEM nuts for the 2 spikes on the transmission, and then you're going to use the Hasport provided new bolts for the other side. You're not going to use these OEM ones because these OEM ones are I believe they're too long. Let me see, where's one? Yeah, see, it's way too long. This is the original one, and this is the one that Hasport gives you, just because it's shorter. And the reason why you need a shorter one is because, well, not on this one, but the other frame. Where'd it go? This guy here, obviously, those bolts go through these holes here, and this is not as thick as the OEM one. So that's why they give you new bolts for there, because that's obviously a hell of a lot thicker than this guy is. See? Big difference. So you do gotta use the provided bolts. You can't use the OEM ones for the ones that go into the transmission itself, but the ones that go into the frame of the car, the wall there, whatever you want to call it, that one you do use the OEM bolts. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that bracket back in, or not back in, but put it in, and then start putting everything together. Alright guys, so it looks like I was wrong about the way this mounts. It is not like the passenger side. It's gonna have to be the other way around, because look at how much gap there is. And I don't think I have to lift the transmission up that much, because I didn't even really lower it from where it was before. I just kind of held it in place with the jack underneath, and that's a lot of room down there. So I'm gonna go ahead and flop that around so that it's lower and touching, and then see what that looks like. Alright, so yeah, that made a big difference. Now it's a lot, you know, a lot closer to the other mount here. So definitely gonna leave it like that. Again, it is not like the passenger side. You want to do it with the bigger edge facing up and the smaller edge facing down. That way you get this mount a little lower. So go ahead, tighten everything up, and then go ahead and move on to the next side, guys. Oh, and real quick, before you put the nut on the front side here, on this guy here, the box comes with 2 of these, and this is so you can mount the ground cables, one on each side of the car, of the engine I should say. So one's gonna go here, and it goes just like that. That way then you can put this cable on it and screw it onto there. It's actually threaded on the smaller end. So just put that there through where the nut goes, and then you can put your cable back on. And then it's going to be the same thing on the passenger side. There's another one of those that comes in the box, and use that same thing to hold the ground cable in place. Alright guys, here it is, the driver's side all done. Got the ECU back in, got the battery back in, just not plugging it in yet, because I gotta undo this side still, and there's a ground cable attached to it. I don't want anything to short circuit, so I'm not attaching the battery yet. There it is. She sure is pretty, man. It looks a hell of a lot better down here than the OEM mount that was in there. There it is. Perfectly snug. You got just enough clearance here to hit the battery. But man, it looks nice. Looks really good. Here it is from up here. It's kind of hard to tell on camera, at least on this GoPro. But it looks really good down there, man. I'm definitely happy about it. I can't wait to do this side, and that's gonna look even better because that's a lot more exposed. That's gonna replace this guy here, so that's gonna look real nice. Add some more shininess. It's gonna go good with the inlet pipe here. So yeah, I'm gonna get started on this. All I gotta do here is, by the looks of it, got this bolt here, this bolt back here. If need be, this bolt here, because I'm gonna have to move the reservoir here because there's a bolt back there. So got that one, this one, this one. Oh, let's see what else is back there. I guess we'll see once I start moving things around. Maybe need to take this one off to move the AC hose just to have some more clearance on something. Who knows? Looking at this now, I wonder. There's a bracket here that goes from the wall to the mount. I wonder if it's going to be used on the new one. Well, let me look at it. See if it has a spot for it. Yeah, actually it does. It looks like this bolt that's right here is going to be this guy right there. So yeah, it means I might need to move, loosen this out the way to get this bracket to move a little bit, just to get this guy in there. So we'll see. Other than that, I know it's going to be the bottom bolt down there. It's holding up, and then these three up here. You got 2 bolts and a nut, and then there's that ground cable I was talking about. There it is right there, attached to the mount. So we're going to be using that, removing that as well. Hopefully this can get done and no coolant will spill out of here. If it does, not really too big deal because I do have some extra. I still have a gallon or like half a gallon left of coolant from when I did the turbo install. So hopefully none spills so I don't make a mess, but if it does, I got backup. Alright guys, so update on the passenger side. I undid the hose here, just kind of set it aside right there, unclipped it from the first one. Unclipped the hose from right here also, and then just moved it to the side so it has a lot of wiggle room. It's this one right here. And on this side I did have to take that bracket out that was here, and it's this guy right here. So I took that out. That way this hose here for the coolant can move freely, and like I said, I'm gonna have to use that again on the new mount anyways. So I did that. I just loosened these 3 bolts. Now all I gotta do is the bottom one here and the bottom one on the other side over here, and then pull it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one first because it's right there. Got my long extension. Then gonna pop out the back one, and then I'll work on pulling it out. Well guys, it's finally done. I'm tired. Oh shit. My hands are aching from grabbing everything and pulling on shit. But here it is. Got the passenger side done. Motor mount is in. Everything's tightened up. Good to go. Everything went back in really. On this side you use all the OEM bolts. So OEM bolts up here on the top, those 3, the nut OEM bolt, the ground bolt is OEM one. The only thing that Hasport provided is the one that goes through the mount itself, this one right here. So that one goes on there, but other than that it's all the OEM ones on this side, even down there for the frame, OEM bolt, up here OEM bolt with the little bracket. Got everything all tightened up, good to go. Just gotta put my strut bar back on and that's it, we're done. Put the battery back on and then ready to rock and roll. This guy does end up staying here hanging. There's no bracket here to hold it. There was on the OEM one. It's this guy right here. It used to clip onto there with that 10mm, but the new one doesn't have that, so it just kind of stays here hanging. It's actually pretty sturdy. It's not too bad because this hose is mounted right there to the reservoir, and then this hose right here goes up here and it's clipped right there, so that's nice and sturdy. And then the little one here is clipped over here also, so that's also nice and sturdy. So this hose ain't really going anywhere. As you can see, even with me hitting it, it barely moves, so I'm not worried about it hanging there. But yeah guys, there it is, all done, ready to go. Alright, so my GoPro just died right there, so I'm going to use my phone. But yeah guys, I'm excited, can't wait to take it for a spin. I don't know if I'll do it right now because it's getting dark already. Let's see, it's not too dark, but we'll see, it's getting there. I still got to finish up and I got to clean up all the tools and everything, so we'll see if it's still bright out or not. If not, if I can't record it for you guys now, because I don't want to just talk in the dark and you guys can't see anything, so I'll just make another video, my next video, and I'll show some driving. Because this one's already pretty long with the whole install, but there it is, all done. Driver's side, passenger side, looks so good. I gotta clean it up, it's got a bunch of grease on, stains on it from my hands, but man, it looks so good. Well guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Until next time, take care and have a great day.